Once upon a time, producer Pete was walking in a wooded forest. I mean, first of all, I hate this first sentence.
Like a wooded forest. Is there? I mean, I suppose there's like kelp forest and stuff. So like you might
they call kelp. That's actually a real thing.
Yeah, kelp forest. It's like like seaweed.
Underwater.
It's like underwater forest. Right. So like
it's not a forest.
No, it's called a forest though. So you might have to make the distinction if you're potentially talking with somebody who may or may not be like a mermaid or something.
Well, I guess a woody forest would be kind of like a temperate forest then.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to change that.
All right.
Once upon a time, producer Pete was walking through a temperate forest.
Ah, beautiful. It sounds fucking...
He was crying. He was crying because his very best friend, Jeffy, had disappeared once again due to a mental breakdown. Producer Pete often wandered when things got tough in his life. In fact, one time when he was 7, and his dad came home with a knife and slaughtered his family, he found the only way to escape was to literally run into the forest. It always brought back memories of that, being out here amongst the trees, of those better days when he had a family. Now he just produces a podcast. But it is the best podcast around. At least that's what he always tells himself late at night. He comes across a wild animal in the woods. It has curly hair and a dirty beard. Producer Pete loves animals. His favorite animals are mongoloids, which are half mongoose, half man. And this looked a whole lot like a mongoloid. Producer Pete shouted, "Hey, are you a mongoloid?" The man looked up and said, "No. My name is Josh, and I'm a podcaster looking for a producer." Producer Pete couldn't believe it. After all, he was given the name producer as a first name at birth. He was meant for this. He looked into the mongoloid's eyes and said, "I would love to produce your podcast." Josh smiled and said, "If only we could find another person. I just don't think I could possibly do the podcast alone." "Well, maybe we'll find it if we continue," producer Pete said. "Hey, do you want some mushrooms or like some weed or something?" Josh said, "No, I've been sober for several moons now." Producer Pete said, "That's cool. I'll just do all the mushrooms and smoke all the weed all the time." Josh sighed and said, "Okay, this might be an interesting podcast, but I guess we'll give it a go." The two walked deep into the forest, and they came across a man. This man was bent over a dead body, eating from its stomach, where there had been a cavern dug. The man looked up at them and smiled. He said, "Boys, I can't believe I finally found you. I've been looking forever." Josh looks to producer Pete and says, "Do you know this fucking guy?" Producer Pete said, "No, man. This is a real crazy trip, huh?" He laughs like producer Pete does. And then the man wipes his mouth and says, "Hey, my name's Alan. And I've been thinking about doing a podcast. Been thinking a lot about it. And maybe you guys want to do a podcast with me." Josh turned to producer Pete and said, "Hey, we probably shouldn't have this guy on the fucking podcast. He's literally eating a raw, dead human." Producer Pete said, "Nah, man, this guy's a trip. This is going to be super cool. We should definitely have him on the podcast." Against his better judgment, Josh turns to the man and says, "Well, all right. Have you ever been on a podcast before?" And he said, "No. But I did eat Rush Limbaugh's dead body and consumed his essence and his politics." Josh needed to hear no more. Being a lifelong Republican, he knew this was going to work out. The three clasped hands and skipped out of the woods to make the world's greatest podcast. The end.
Going hard, yo. Go. 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 Going hard, yo. Going hard, yo. Go. 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 Going hard, yo. Go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Going Hard podcast. I'm Josh DeLay, and I am not joined today by Alan and producer Pete, but I am joined by Angie.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for doing this.
You literally forced my hand.
I
I'm
forced
being held
nothing.
captive right now,
I
actually.
forced nothing. What do you think of our origin story?
It was kind of brutal.
Yeah, there's a lot of murder and
Yeah,
cannibalism.
Actually, I've been to, your girlfriend for over 6 years, and I did not know you were a lifelong Republican.
Well, you got to find out sooner or later. So this is a very special episode, you guys. It's not going to be just me riffing with my girlfriend. That'd be so boring. No, this is a best of episode. This is our 30th episode. Seemed like a good time. We're about to move studios, as we mentioned in the previous podcast. I thought it'd be easier to just throw some of our old clips together, and so we can just sit down in the middle of moving and just get this done quickly, get some content out for you guys. And I think there's a lot of stuff too. Like there's even some clips because we didn't release everything in audio. So if you're just an audio listener, there's actually some things you haven't heard. Mainly episodes 1 and 2, which did not go out on audio, and you'll understand why when you hear the fucking audio.
Oh, God.
It is, well, I mean, look, it's not any more offensive or less offensive than anything else we do, but the audio quality is dog shit.
Perfect.
It's really bad. So with that being said, we'll just jump right into it. So to set up this first bit from our very first episode, we had been talking about South Dakotans and about how they use regressive language.
Okay.
You know, like R words and
Yes.
probably a few N words.
Yes.
Alan has a lot of family in South Dakota, so he knows firsthand. We're not prejudging South Dakotans. We know this for a fact. So that's the significance of this first bit. That's where it came from, and then also it was our first advertisement.
Oh.
So 2 big milestones.
Let's do it.
All right, let's listen. Here's the deal with, so do you know what the best Charleston chew is? And this is why movie theaters are just such a fucked up, because everything you eat there, the pop there tastes better than popcorns. So I would always get,
dude, I would agree with you.
the mini vanilla Charleston chews. So they're like this big.
At movie theaters?
Dude.
No.
They're like 1/4 bite size.
They don't have those at.
Yes, they do. Producer Pete.
I can contest.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I go to a movie
you've
theater,
never had that? What do
No,
you
no.
get? What do you do?
Either the cookie dough bites,
Yeah.
right? They have those crunch fucking little tiny balls, the crunch balls.
Bunch
you
of
know what I'm
crunch.
talking about?
Bunch
Is
of
that
crunch.
what it's called?
Yes.
Crunch and bunch, yeah.
Yes.
I like dots, which is another.
Oh.
See, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Dots are another one of
All
those.
right, here,
okay.
let's do a scene here.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing a podcast. Okay, and you're the co-host of the podcast, and you tell me you like dots. Just do it. Just do it.
Well, I just did.
No, just let's roll it back here.
Okay, so just
I missed a golden opportunity.
Just move back.
Yeah, I missed a really golden
All right,
opportunity.
so
Okay.
I like cookie dough bites. I like
Yeah.
a bunch of crunches.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, I like dots.
Fucking retard. What are you fucking? What's wrong with
These
you?
goddamn South Dakotans are off the fucking
No,
rails with these.
this is
R
actually
word.
me right
Oh,
now.
Jesus Christ.
How about that for rule of threes?
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for enjoying the program. We'd like to say a little thing at this point to, cover the bases and to hit home runs. This episode was actually recorded back in 2010, when it was okay to say, retarded. Thank you. And now back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all experienced treats. This is the holiday season. We love treats. Alan, love treats?
I love treats.
Love treats. But during this holiday season, especially during quarantine, there's been one item that I think everyone in America has enjoyed more,
Twin Bing.
Twin Bing, than any other product. Now, if you're looking for chocolate
If you're looking for cherry,
and you're looking for 2 separate things in one package,
then you're looking for a twin Bing.
And you're reaching for a twin Bing, probably as we speak.
Yep, you're putting it right in your mouth.
Now, the Twin Bing brand company.com support our podcast, and we would like for you to also support Twin Bing. So if you go to twinbing.com, type in the promo code Going Hard Podcast, you will receive Quad Bing. You'll get two Twin Bings. So,
And remember, twin Bing, it's not just for retards.
all right, so that was our first clip. As you can see, Twin Bing didn't follow up with advertisements after that.
I wonder why.
I actually don't know. I thought we did a really good job of representing what Twin Bing was all about. They're a South Dakota company, is the thing.
Are they actually?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why it's so shitty.
Maybe
It's why there's bad candy.
Maybe I just have like a speech impediment, but I can't do it. Twin Bing.
You got it. You nailed it.
But you guys said that like 50 times
Twin
in
Bing.
a span of 2 minutes. I could not do that.
Well, that's why we're professional broadcasters and you're not. Okay. So this next clip, we're also going into the Unearthed Audio archives, right?
Okay.
So this is episode 2. Let's see what this one's all about. Oh, there was 2 milestones for this one. Oh wait, no, there wasn't. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is a short clip. For those of you who are big fans of the podcast and you know about Jeffy and or Jerry, he's the guy who are you not familiar with him?
No, I'm familiar with him, but I thought his name was Jared.
Yeah, so it started as Jared, then it was Jerry, now it's Jeffy. I mean, it's all the same guy, we think. So this was his first email.
Okay.
This is where it kind of all started, and his infatuation with producer Pete began right now. Would you like to listen to this clip?
No.
Too fucking bad. All right. So here is the clip from episode 2. This one is actually addressed to producer Pete. You want me just to read it for you?
Yeah, let's see what they got.
Okay. Dear producer Pete, when I first heard your sexy voice on the last podcast, I could barely contain my satisfaction. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then upon re-listening to it, I realized that you have the hottest voice in all of show business. This guy, we don't get an applause break all fucking day. He gets
Pulling it out for
he
himself.
gets one compliment. All of a sudden, he's getting an applause break. We've just been bombing.
Yep.
Here is my number. If you would like to send me a picture of your behind, I will send you a picture of my front. Jared from Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Not into that apparently.
yeah, I mean,
we only have the select amount of people listening right now, and you're already kind of
seems like 2 dudes. One from Michigan, one from Derry.
Derry, Ireland, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, 2 emails is better than 0.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad they're starting to roll in though.
Yeah, and producer Pete. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, so the first one was a guy, but the next one could be a girl.
You know, I mean, maybe let me just see that number. Maybe after.
I'll slide you the digits, and you can do with those what
Oh,
you will.
he left a phone number.
He did. I didn't read it because
Oh well, all right.
I don't think that's wise.
No, I don't think so either. But it's good for producer Pete.
It sure is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congrats, producer Pete.
Yeah, congratulations.
You deserved that. The first person who might, get laid as a result of this.
Yeah. Jared.
What if Jared from Michigan fucking kills us?
Yeah. He just comes to like bang Pete, and then like
Yeah.
the whole thing is a ruse, and he actually just wants to murder us.
Yeah.
you know?
He's like, oh, it'd be cool to meet producer Pete, then maybe I can find a way to kill you guys as well.
Well, he just knows that that producer Pete's like very susceptible to being banged by dudes, so he's using that as the whole like plan to get to us.
So now,
you know?
okay, so we've been really developing producer Pete's personality. So now he gets high all day, and then he's just susceptible to getting He's not gay,
No, he's not gay,
but he's susceptible to being banged by men.
yeah.
I've never heard. It's like,
No, it sounds about right.
it's
Like,
like the straight. It's like producer Pete, straightest guy I know. No, is he susceptible to being banged by dudes?
Well, obviously.
Yeah, he is. All right, so that was our first introduction to Jared, Jerry, Jeffy, and who knows what other future iteration he'll become.
Is he still as obsessed with producer Pete?
Yeah, so you know what? He's shifted a little bit away from producer Pete. Now it's more like he's like trying to become a guest on the podcast. I mean, I think that's all probably his way of
Getting to producer
yes,
Pete.
exactly. So he's playing this whole angle where like I'm your biggest fan. I'd just love to meet all of you guys.
The lawn con.
Yes, it's been. I mean, it's been like what is it now? Like a 28-week con, 29 weeks. I mean, you gotta give him that at least. He's persistent.
He's from Michigan, right?
Well, I mean, who knows where? I mean, yeah, he says.
He says he's from Michigan. Have you guys disclosed what state you do the podcast?
We
in?
always talk about like Minneapolis and Minnesota.
It's not far.
It's I mean,
It's not far.
Well, one of his
You can
letters.
drive.
One of his letters he wrote from he was in Como Park.
In Minnesota.
Yeah, and in St. Paul, I think. Yeah. But Petey producer Pete like met up with him there, and like there was like all this weird stuff where Petey's like, yeah, we don't got to talk about it, man. It's all good.
Yeah, can you tell I don't regularly listen to the podcast?
You don't have. That's why. That's like why I wanted you here though, because you're someone I can help inform and make some of this madness make a little bit of sense.
Right.
You know? Speaking of having another person here, in episode 6 we had our first guest, which was one of 2 milestones that happened. It was Ethan Peterson. So he was our first guest, which was a milestone, and it was also the first podcast where we got very, very drunk before the podcast.
Oh, I'm aware.
Generally, yeah, that's true. You were the shot girl for that podcast.
Sure
kind
was.
of. Generally, we'll like kind of start drinking during the podcast, and that's a good way of like making sure it doesn't get off the rails. This time, I mean, I don't even know how much I had to drink at the start, and you can tell by my exuberance and my obnoxiousness that that's the case. But we had Ethan Peterson on, and so those are just 2 things to notice in that clip: is that we have a guest, and we're very drunk,
Got it.
and those are milestones. So listen up. For everyone who cannot see, our first guest on this all-white podcast is a black man.
And even at that, it's only half black. So
Yeah. Well, we're not
getting too crazy.
We're just dipping a toe in the water. You know what I mean?
Everything in stages, you know, one day.
Yes,
at a time.
everything in moderation, especially race relations.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
For sure.
You did
I actually thought about this today. You brought up me being Irish, and I'm half Irish, half Italian.
No, you're not.
The worst. Jesus Christ.
Well, I agree that they're horrible people.
Both of
Fucking
them.
starch eaters, the whole lot of them. So I thought about this. I thought about what I think would be a great alternative name for the Irish potato famine. An Irish goodbye.
Oh, all right.
They were all dying.
Yeah,
They were all dying.
I see what you
Yeah.
did there. Yep.
And I can say that because probably someone...
The Irish stairway to heaven.
Yes, exactly. The potato pile to the gods. I'm assuming the Irish... No, they're very Catholic, so they believe in... They're monotheistic.
The single God.
Which one's which?
Yeah, they got like raided by the LA County Sheriff's Department because they like got reports that they were partying and shit, and there was just like a shitload of guns, like weapons in there.
No, but like when this happened to like Wheezy, he got fucking sent to prison and shit, and then Trump pardoned him.
Yeah, shout out Donald Trump, by the way.
Shouts out Donald
Shout
Trump.
out Donnie.
Yo,
Shouts out.
Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. I appreciate it.
Who's Kodak Black, by the
who
way?
fuck is that?
You're
Really?
black. Hey,
You don't
you're
know-
black.
You don't know
Kodak,
how-
I've never heard of Kodak Black.
You've never heard? I guarantee you've heard Kodak Black. I'm
Is
trying
he
to
new?
think.
Is he a new like artist?
He's been out probably since like honestly like 2014, 2015. Like he's been doing it.
That's okay. I don't know. Maybe.
I think Drake blew him up because he was dropping good music, but then Drake posted a video to like Instagram of him like Drake dancing to his music, and that's when he really came up. And then he had that song "No Flockin'."
How
know
does
that
that?
song?
How does that go?
I can't. I don't know the words, but it's Cardi B did a remix. That was her first shit. That was the Bodak Yellow.
Oh fuck.
Da na 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 na. You know that shit?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was Kodak. That was
He's
Kodak
lying.
Black's
He
first.
doesn't
song.
know.
He
doesn't know.
I remember
I don't know.
I remember it from the club. All right.
Yeah, the gay 90s. Am I right, guys? High five.
High
Hey,
five.
I love that. Okay.
Just really left Alan hanging there.
That is perfect.
So yeah, Ethan was a great guest. He was on again, I think, in episode like 26 or something. And he's just a great guest to have because he can just flow with everything.
But do you say you stan Ethan Peterson?
I definitely stan him. If I was a gay man, I would wife Ethan Peterson up. Do you think there'd be like any two different people than you and Ethan Peterson? Like what if those like my two types was like you and then Ethan Peterson?
Yeah, we do have similar taste in music, though.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Ethan would surprise you though. I think people like because he's black, they think he just like listens to like hip hop and shit. But he likes a lot of like alternative.
Well, no, I know, but in that
music
clip
and
we
shit.
were talking about Kodak Black and stuff.
Oh yeah, I actually still don't know what any of that meant.
No, but you know Bodak Yellow by Cardi B.
Yeah, sure.
You do. We were listening. I was talking about it when we were at the laundromat that one time, and you were singing "Bloody Shoes." That's where Bloody Shoes.
It
come
seems
from.
like the place to talk about Cardi B is definitely a laundromat. that adds up in a lot of ways. Okay, let's see here. Oh, episode 7. So the very next episode, something very big happened. So as you know now, our biggest podcasting rival is Joe Rogan.
Yes.
He's the one taking most of our views from us, and we've openly attacked him. We think that our producer is better than his producer. We think we're whatever. We don't gotta get into it right now. I'm not trying to enhance any beef. I'm just trying to lay it out. But our very first podcasting rivals. Do you remember these guys?
No.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it then.
Oh God.
You're gonna learn all about them right now. But let's just say we got them real good.
Some crack stories?
I mean, I have one really good crack story.
Okay.
So there's one time I bought some crack and I smoked it and felt really, really good. And I don't remember a whole lot.
This is a great story. Was that it?
Yeah, I just remember feeling really good, and then I remember like searching for days for this guy.
So you can get some more crack.
So I could
kind of a deal?
I could get some more of what he was presenting to the people. And I never found him, and then I found God, and I found this podcast. This was actually just a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Don't you hate that when you like when you get addicted to an illegal substance
Yes.
and you go out looking for it, but you find
Yeah.
God
And
instead?
and exactly.
Sucks.
Well, no.
Fucking sucks,
Well,
man.
hold on.
I'm out there trying to get some fucking
Hold
drugs,
on.
and then all of a sudden, Jesus.
Hold on.
All right.
Look, you can't be talking this way to a guy who he turned his back on crack for Christ. Like you can't. Like you have to understand this isn't like a personal decision. This is like a journey and a spiritual journey that led me down this path to. I wouldn't be here with you today. I'd be in an alleyway
Yep.
doing acts upon humans for crack.
Dude, we should make some. We should actually make some pamphlets about your journey from crack to Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I feel like that's like a.
From crack to Christ.
You know?
The Josh DeLay story. Fuck a pamphlet. I'm writing a 300-page goddamn memoir, a crack memoir. Oh my god.
Oh, goodness.
So do you know who our biggest podcast?
Supporter?
No. Like our rival. You know who our biggest rival is?
No. What
Speaking of crack and Christ.
who's our biggest rival? I feel like I missed that.
Producer Pete, look up Going Hard for Christ podcast.
Oh fuck! Is this real?
So here's the deal.
Is this real?
We're getting beaten up by the algorithm.
Shit.
So look, I'm not you're a coder, you're a computer programmer. I'm not so tech savvy, and I know recently I've been pushing to get our podcast into more platforms, right?
Yeah.
So now we're on Apple, the Apple podcast. We're on Spotify. We're probably on a bunch of other, just wherever you get podcasts. I'm sure like Podcast Addict.
Hey, check us out wherever you find podcasts.
Here's the problem, okay?
I like when other podcasters say that, so I figured I'd try it out.
No, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
And next time I do an impression of you, I'll be sure to remember that little thing you threw in there because
All right, cool.
it was really impressive. Thank you.
thought so.
So, anyways, so when you type in "going hard" into Spotify, and I haven't done it with Apple yet, but for sure with Spotify, you know what happens?
What do you get?
Going Hard for Christ
That's
podcast.
that's number one.
And then guess what happens when you click "See All Podcasts"?
What do we got?
You just keep scrolling, and guess what you don't find?
Just regular old going.
You don't
hard.
find the Going Hard podcast. Instead, it's Going Hard for Christ.
God damn it.
And look, as a man who was once lost and then has since been found, spiritually and Christianly, I support what they're doing. I think I haven't listened.
Yeah, but it just sucks. In my opinion, anyways, because I feel like we're not going to get much overflow from the Going Hard for Christ demographic. Like, you know, they're not going to go out and just be like, all right, I'm going to go listen to my favorite podcast, Going Hard for Christ, and then right underneath they see Going Hard with our two mugs on the front there, and
And why wouldn't there be crossover?
I guess I don't know.
Do you think we have a content issue?
Yeah, I think we might.
Here's what I'm saying though. What if we change our podcast name to Going Hard for Christ? Now hear me out. Hear me out. Look, they've taken this top spot, or what? We could be Going Hard for Christ, and then in parentheses 1. You know, well, because I'm a man of the God.
Yep.
I actually have a story to tell. Now I don't know what these Going Hard for Christ guys are up to. I couldn't tell you.
We could do like the gamer tag thing where you put like the 2 dashes on the outsides of the words, and then
Yeah.
and then a couple X's, like uppercase X's.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like gamer tag style.
Yes, gamer tags.
And then we could just like have that be our name.
Now, you know what I've learned through my spiritual journeys is that idle hands and hands that rest often on controllers, video game controllers, are the devices of Satan, the devil.
Yeah, you know what my grandma always told me is instead of touching your little dingle dangle there, little Alan, you should be using that to flip through the pages of the Bible.
So you were whacking off in front of your grandma. And she's like, "Hey, instead of doing that, why don't you like?"
Well, I mean, it was her only course of action, you know.
So you were masturbating in front of your grandma, and you had to have been, or else this lesson doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the only reasonable thing for her to say in that scenario. So, but I remember it; it stuck with me. So. I mean, she got. What I'm trying to say is that she got through to me.
Yeah. So you've also been found.
Yeah. So from your story was from crack to Christ.
From crack to Christ.
Mine's from jerkin to Jesus.
the Alan Wagner fable.
Yeah.
I told my girlfriend to wait. You told me you had to go home, but I know better than taking you back to your mom. She was old and broke. I know it, and you know it. I told her how it was. I told her we would become the greatest duo of all time. Big fans all over the country. We would be bigger than Christ, bigger than Elvis Presley, bigger than Chuck Berry, bigger than the Rolling Stones, bigger than the Beatles, bigger than Willie Guthrie, bigger than Arlo Guthrie, bigger than Bobby Dylan, bigger than Phyllis Diller, bigger than a big old bowl of soup, bigger than a poop. I told your mom all of this. I told your mom all of this. God damn it. I told your mom all this. I told your mom how fucking big we'd be, you fucking bitch. God damn it. Yeah, so that was that last bit. I forgot to set that up. That was a blooper from. So when we would make songs on previous podcasts, we would it would be multiple takes, and a lot of times it'd be because of that. Lately, we knock it out. We've just gotten good at it. But that was that one. We did it like 45 minutes on that song. And yeah, it came to a point where I said nothing left to say, and I said something just real stupid. It's like, we just wasted a take of this, 2.5 minutes.
Stupid or profound?
Right, I know. That's one of my favorite moments from the entire podcast, though.
Well, so going back to Going Hard for Christ.
Yes.
That was episode 7.
Yeah.
We are now on episode 30.
Yep, this is 30.
In that time frame, in that span, have you listened to Going Hard for Christ?
I'm not even a single second. Fuck them.
What if they found out that you talked about them on your podcast, and they've been talking about you now on Going Hard for Christ?
You know what's interesting? We did have one big spike. We got a bunch of views. I don't remember when it was, though. I think it was before episode 7. There's one episode randomly where we have quadruple the amount of views, maybe even more, just randomly. I don't know why.
Weird.
But people apparently were like, "Oh yeah, that's enough." that didn't inspire any sort of landslide. But that's okay. We have loyal fans. I don't want fair weather fans. You know what I mean? I'm not about that shit. Let's see here. Oh, speaking of being fans, wow, look at this transition.
Good.
In episode 14, we had an opportunity to fanboy out because we had LA comedian Brendan Walsh on the podcast. Yeah, exactly. And that was really fun. So we'll give you that. I guess I don't really know how to set this up. I mean, we had him on and we just kind of let him go because he's so hilarious. And we did get a really great Henry Phillips and Doug stand-up story out of him as well.
Yes.
So that's what this is. Well, this was episode 14 with Brendan Walsh. So I saw you tweet out. You said you would be on literally any podcast, and
yeah, I said I'll do any podcast, and last Thursday I think I did 5. Yeah, people really took me up on this offer. I think after doing I think once I do, after I get through all the 50 podcasts that I have to do now, because I'm a man of my word.
You're a good man.
I will reach upwards of maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Well, I tell you what, we get upwards 50 listeners per episode. So
yeah, that seems to be about the average that I'm giving my precious time to.
Yeah,
but hey,
you scrape the bottom of the barrel enough, that those nickels and dimes really start adding up after a while, So.
Yeah, that old expression.
None of the real podcasts want to have me on. Not the real podcast, but
oh, we're real.
Yeah,
this is an alternative way of reaching.
I know that you've opened for him and toured with him. Do you have any really good Doug stand-up stories that you can tell? Or even just a good one?
There's no, it was it wasn't really. I mean, he did have Alex Jones open for us one time in Austin.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah, I was the feature actor.
Oh shit, that's a wild video.
Almost caused a riot. I don't think I ever watched the video, but no. As far as it really was. It was just a couple of fucking teenagers hanging out on. We'd really would just fucking goof around all the time. And there's a lot of drinking going on.
Yeah, for sure.
But there was one thing that stands out was we were in San Francisco doing shows at the Punchline there, and we went to a bar. It was me. Henry Phillips was there too. Henry drove up.
We love Henry Phillips too, by the way. Henry's
out there. his cooking video.
Yes.
His kitchen. It's great.
Absolutely. It's the best shit.
But we were in.
Shit's so funny.
So we went to this bar and it had like an outside patio. We're all on the outside thing, smoking cigarettes and drinking and stuff. And somebody broke a glass. Henry, the way Henry tells it, Henry tells the best stories. But Henry was in the bar ordering a drink, and you could hear the glass break outside, and the bartender's like, and Henry's like, it's probably one of my friends. We're having fun or whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, whatever. I'll just come out with you. I'll sweep it up. And he comes out, and Doug's peeing on the broken glass, and I'm smashing bottles at his pee. And the guy comes out, and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? We're like, I don't know. I thought it would be funny to just break another bottle while he was peeing on the first broken bottle. I don't think we got kicked out, though.
What a cool bartender.
I think Doug gave him like $50 or something.
Right.
He's just like, hey, sorry, we're just acting stupid.
Just madness. That was our episode with Brendan Walsh, which was really fun.
I love that story.
It really is great. Well, not only is that like story, like that would just be like funny if you were with your buds, but like he's with Henry Phillips and Doug Stanhope, or like, and also Brendan. Like those are three of like my favorite comedians. Just like whatever they do, I'll watch
collide.
it. Yeah, I mean, like it's like as like a fanboy, like if I could we could like hang out with them, even just like hang out, like be like the fourth wheel guy, just like watching them, like that would just be enough for me. And then like to have that story to accompany it would just be like so money.
So cool.
Yeah, it was awesome that he came on. I know he did a bunch of people's podcasts, but I mean, still, he didn't,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he just did that, like he said, he's a man of his word.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was incredibly cool of him, and yeah, I mean, he was awesome to do it, and we really do appreciate it. Ethan Pierce is a great guest, but he's no Brendan Walsh.
I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Well, someday he will be. He's a great guy too. Okay, so as you can see, everything was going very well in the podcast, right? Like things were progressing. We were having a good time. Episode 18, things started to take a little bit of a turn.
We're making a real time jump here, right?
This is a bit of a time jump. That was episode 14, so this is about 4 weeks later. And before that, we actually had a 7-week time jump. What happened between there? None of your guys' fucking business. Go back and listen, all right? This should inspire you, all right? This should inspire you to go back and listen to these episodes. Like, oh, yeah, they did have some good stuff. We sure did. All right. So, yeah, we're moving 4 weeks ahead to episode 18, and this is where we start to have problems.
With one of the hosts?
With the host, the co-host, Alan. And so this was a big moment for the podcast because, we hadn't really discussed disciplinary actions too much outside of a little bit behind the scenes, like kind of, it's like, hey, something happens, be a professional. But the problem here was that you'll hear a little bit about it. Alan decided that he didn't need to like keep us abreast of what was going on, and he missed a podcast.
It's like the biggest sin in podcasting.
It's literally all he has to do is be here. We'll figure it out from there. It's not. Right. I mean, we don't have a real high standard. Like it's fine. So anyway, this is where things start to get a little rocky in the relationship amongst the three of us.
Got it.
This is all depressing. I don't want to talk.
No, well, this is something that we need to look. I don't feel good unless the audience knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes.
So I had to recover this car last Friday when we normally podcast.
You didn't have to give very many details because really, I think it's really producer Pete and I who have the ones that have to kind of talk about this.
Oh yeah, you guys have to like okay. You have to recover from me being gone for.
Well, we discussed it. We discussed that was strike one for you, bud. All right. Look, this is a normal game of baseball we're playing here. Right? All right, you get 3 strikes.
God damn it.
But I'm sorry, we gotta give you that
Strike
first one. Yep, you're not out, but you could be out.
Can I get some balls? Are balls part of this?
Now I will say that you did develop a ball.
Yeah.
When you did bring me some beer to kind of recuperate.
So what happens? So like if I get to 4 balls, I get to walk, right?
If you get to 4 balls, it reduces 1 strike.
Oh, that's not how baseball works.
Yeah,
I get to walk to first base with one of you guys.
Yeah, but metaphors.
You know what I'm talking about.
Metaphors. Yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah, you got one of you guys gets to make out with old Adam.
I've gone to first base with various fast food managers in my life. I know all about that. But no. So in the game of podcast baseball, it's much. First of all, it's easier to get a ball than it is to get a strike. Let's be real. Think about it. This is our 19th, 18th, or 19th episode.
Yep.
And this is your first strike. I mean, man, that means you can get through a full year before you'll probably be fired. And you've now earned one ball because you brought me 24 beers.
Yep.
So
this doesn't seem fair. So
what do you mean?
Well, because it's so easy to get a strike, but it's very hard to get 4 balls.
Yeah, just like in
no,
baseball.
I think it's easy to get balls.
Listen, I brought 2 12-packs of beers.
I know
for you
you
fellas.
did.
And that should be worth 2 balls.
If you bring
you guys got to give me 2 balls.
If you bring me 96 beers, that'll be 4 balls.
Oh my god! See, that's what I mean. That's a lot of beers.
Wait a minute, 96? Am I doing that wrong?
Do I get to drink them with you at the very least, or?
Well, if I want you to.
See, this is the issue.
If you
man.
miss a podcast, it might be less.
That's a lot of beers.
I know, and it's a lot of pressure too.
What about a keg? How much would a keg be?
I'm trying to be transparent here, Alan.
A keg is about like 64 beers. If I brought in a keg, though, that's all 4 balls.
If you bring in
that'd be a fun time.
Okay, if you bring in a keg, yeah, even if you have 2 strikes, I'd say, then that will erase all strikes.
Okay.
A keg is a clean slate.
No. This is actually
a keg is a clean slate.
This is actually very good news.
But then we also have to drink. We also have to drink an entire keg.
No, so listeners,
we're all gonna fucking die.
Listeners, if you listeners ever view our podcast and you see a keg hanging out in the back of the podcast, I did something really fucked up.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
I did something real bad. We're not going to talk about it, but we got a keg, and that's going to be fun for everybody, including the listeners. So.
Alan's like, I fucked your girlfriend. Here's a keg. I'm like, wait a minute.
Not
all
clean slate.
Not all strikes are graded the same. Sometimes you can get 2 strikes in 1.
Oh.
Now I'm hoping.
Well, I suppose because I mean, if that's the logic, I mean, you can erase or you can get 4 balls.
Yes.
For bringing a keg.
Well, yeah.
What would it take to get all 3 strikes?
Well, no.
Would I have to murder producer Pete or something?
I mean, you probably just think, yeah, we're actually locked up and can't do the podcast. I guess
that's 3 strikes. Yeah.
But at 3 strikes, then it comes to a vote. That's what we decided. And at that point, the vote is between the other 2. You don't have a vote, obviously. And then if it's a unanimous vote for you to stay or go, that's the decision.
Well, am I a part of this? I feel like one of you guys could also you guys get strikes too.
I'm strikeless.
We're showing up. We're showing up for the pod.
We're strikeless.
Well, I mean, maybe I would like to air some grievances.
Yeah, but you're alone in this. You realize.
I got a vote. I got 1/3 of the
yeah, you can vote.
Whatever,
you can vote, but it'll be 2-1.
Yeah.
So your vote will be really not worth anything.
Oh man.
Not many. I'm the king of writing songs. I've written thousands of songs. I'm a fucking god. I've written so many fucking songs it'll blow your mind.
Applebee's. Arby's. Wendy's. McDonald's.
Nobody wants to work anymore. They're all living off the government's tit. Nobody wants to work anymore. Makes me wanna quit my job at
Applebee's.
Why don't you wanna work for minimum wage? Don't you wanna be a proud, hard-working American man or woman at Applebee's? Wendy's or don't you wanna survive for $5 to a family from Kentucky? Don't give up on your dreams. Get a job at Applebee's. Or McDonald's. Take some pride in yourself, you fucking piece of shit. Take some pride in yourself. Work for fast food. Work harder. Earn a living. You sack of shit.
And that was the music video we made for that episode. So yeah, you can see you're pretty proud.
Yeah, that was really fun to make, honestly. I didn't think it would be, but it was...
Wasn't it also a lot more work than you expected it to be?
Yeah.
Like, we were just, like, driving around fast food places for, like, or hanging out there for, what was it, like, 3 or 4 hours,
It
probably
was
at least.
Yeah, like our whole Saturday evening.
Yeah, and obviously we ended up, like our, like, reward at the end was to eat at Applebee's.
Oh, God.
Which is just
Not a good reward.
It really wasn't. Probably none of it was worth the effort.
No, I felt so sick the next day after eating.
I felt sick that day. It didn't take me any amount of time to
we
feel
didn't
it.
even eat all the food. Like you saw, like half of the fries we got ended up on the ground for like geese to eat.
Yeah,
but
we fed a lot of geese.
We fed a lot of geese.
I hope they choked. I fucking hate
They're
geese.
mean.
I don't even want to hunt, but I really do want to get my goose hunting license just so I can fucking murder some geese.
Yeah, they're scary.
I hate them. So yeah, and then so obviously what you saw there before that too, was, like we said, there's an issue with Alan. He earned his first strike. But then things cleared up for a week. The next week we had a really fun podcast. Let's see what this one was again.
My favorite part of that clip with talking about Alan strikes is how many times you guys say balls.
A lot of balls. and we didn't make one joke about testicles.
I know. I was very surprised.
That's out of character for us.
Very out of character.
We usually go right for the easy joke and we stick with it. Okay, cool. So this next one, this just kind of shows how quickly we can rebound from that. Obviously, there was a lot of consternation, and this next episode, we're just having fun. And we actually got a sponsorship from a big rock band. So this was very exciting. Listen up. You know, speaking of like family incest, you know the song "Whiskey in the Jar."
Yeah.
So
what is that? Wait, hold on a sec. How are you connecting the dots?
Well, let's just. So you have to kind of exclude the verses because the verses are kind of like a cool story about a guy who was like a pirate.
Yeah.
And then or like some sort of sailor.
What part of this? What part of the song are you looking at the chorus?
Oh yes. First and foremost, let's say right now that "Whiskey in the Jar" was most popularly produced by Metallica. However, it is an old folk song that they repurposed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
And so it's actually a cool ass song. The verses are about a sailor guy who basically goes and he like robs the captain, and then he just goes and bangs Molly a bunch.
Fucking awesome.
And impresses her, and then he ends up the captain comes back for his money. He kills the captain, and instead of banging Molly, he's banging some guy in prison. It doesn't say that. It's in the subtext. And so anyway, but then for whatever reason, the chorus has very little to do with anything that happens in the verses. The chorus is just which on here it says this, but I actually have a question. I don't know if I believe this. So the chorus is some sound, and then it's whack for my daddy. Oh, whack for my daddy. Oh, there's whiskey in the jar. Oh, but that just it doesn't matter. It's completely a non sequitur to what's occurring in every other part of the song. My question is, like, is his dad coming in smelling of whiskey and he's making him like whack for him?
Yeah, I could see where you're drawing I could see where you're like, you have the dots like fucking put all over the paper.
I'm literally just reading directly.
You got the dots put all over the sheet of paper, and you're connecting them, and it's making a giraffe or whatever.
Yeah, but it was more like Metallica did that for me and then just handed it to me. They're like, this is exactly what this is. Like, I didn't have to do any connecting. They're like, we'll do that for you. Now,
yeah.
Now we whack for my daddy-o.
Yeah.
Now the only thing
whack for my daddy.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And they updated the lyrics because originally it was masturbate for my daddy-o because there's old-timey folks. They didn't have whack yet.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, masturbate for my daddy.
Yes. Or
it made the song that much better, though.
so another angle you can look at this is that okay, so maybe it's whack for my daddy, which is weird because you're whacking off for your dad.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to do that. But I question those lyrics as I hear it as maybe whack for me, daddy-o. So then you're kind of forcing your dad to whack off for you, and that's or asking.
No, but it's like a really cool kid though. Like just asking.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, daddy-o, why don't you whack for me?"
Yeah.
You know?
See, that's different.
Yeah.
Now, if it's Jesus whacking for his daddy and there's whiskey in the jar, that summons up all sorts of family incest.
This like little kid's just like a fucking alcoholic drinking whiskey out of a jar, asking his daddy-o to fucking whack off.
See, that's
for
the
him.
thing. So the difference could be, hey, I got really drunk one day and asked my dad to beat off for me, which is
very interesting.
It's weird.
It's a very interesting choice.
I don't like
it's
it.
consensual.
Trigger warning.
It's consensual though.
Trigger
I guess,
warning
maybe.
on that for sure.
Yeah. TW.
TW.
Yeah.
Dad masturbation.
Yeah.
I
think the dad would still get in trouble, but I mean, at least it was consensual. Like the fucking kid was begging him for it. And he's old enough to drink a glass of whiskey. He's old enough to fucking ask his dad to masturbate.
If you're triggered
in my opinion, anyways.
if you're triggered by father-son masturbation, how are you listening to this podcast? I don't even want you. I don't want you to be a part of this podcast if you're triggered by father-son masturbation. Get the fuck out. If you're still like trying to be a fan of this show and father-son masturbation offends you, get the fuck out, dude.
Yeah.
We don't want you.
Yeah, please. Hey, don't let the old door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. So, which one do you think it is? Do you think it's whack for my daddy?
I want to believe that it's whack for me, daddy-o.
This podcast is brought to you by Father-Son Hangouts. Now, so the company Father-Son Hangouts copyright trademark is more of an idea than a company, and they support special bonding between father and son, oftentimes through physical touch. Father-Son Hangouts. It's all in the family.
Whack for my daddy-o.
Whack for me, daddy-o.
Yeah. Good God. This the second sponsor of the show is surprisingly enough Metallica.
Oh shit.
Yeah. They.
Wait, does that mean we get to use their music now?
No, they said specifically no music.
Oh, they
were just like, well, if you play the music during the actual ad, then people will have the music without paying for it.
Oh, sure.
So they don't like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So, but they said, hey, just make sure you don't misinterpret any of our lyrics, in your podcast, or else we'll fucking sue your ass.
Did they actually say that?
Yeah.
Well, then, in that case, this podcast is brought to you by Napster.
Anyways, thank you, Metallica, for keeping our show up on air. Thank you so much for the moment.
Thanks, Metallica.
Yep.
And now time for the second half of the podcast. So that was your favorite clip so far.
I'm making zero comments about it.
What do you mean? Why? You have nothing to say about it? All right, well, I guess I'll just do all the work here. So do you think the trigger warning was for you then? For people like you? Okay, so anyway, the point of that clip, well, first of all, I thought that was a good time. We were all having fun. Alan had that cool green jacket on. That was actually the main reason why I put that on there. He had the cool like green jacket with the green shirt.
Oh, you just wanted to make sure people saw his cool outfit.
He was dressed like a Backstreet Boy.
Nuh-uh.
It was, dude, they wore jackets like that.
I'm aware, but that doesn't mean he was dressed like a Backstreet Boy.
What do you mean? So if they dressed like that, okay, I'm not about to argue semantics here. All right, we have a mission to go on. So as you can see there, everyone's happy again. I was happy. Alan's happy. You didn't hear producer Pete, but you can tell by how good it sounded that he was happy.
Right.
Happy wife, happy producer Pete. Next episode, however, well, some things happened between these next two episodes. Alan got into that thing with that waitress, and we made a business decision. Let's just put it that way. And so that's to say, the next episode, Alan wasn't featured.
He liked the hoagies.
Yeah, he was really into carbs, but I don't judge a guy for that. He liked oil and vinegar a lot. Avocado spread, I think, was his favorite. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Even just talking about him and like the things that he enjoyed and that kind of stuff. Oh, here we actually see here. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, so yeah, I don't know if you've heard or not yet. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is my my older brother and confidant, Michael, on the phone. So we just, I just broke the news on the podcast. I know I told you about this earlier, but we fired Alan, and
oh God, finally.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it was in the works. Producer Pete and I knew it was in the works. But now we're kind of bashing the fourth wall down now, and letting the audience know, kind of.
Even in this brief chat we've had here, I can hear new life in you.
Yeah, well, actually, before you called, I truthfully, we kind of started talking about some of the things that Alan liked, some of the things that we actually did like about Alan, and I was getting a little bit.
It must have been a short list.
I mean, it was basically just his favorite toppings on a sandwich, but. Looks like we lost brother Michael. So I mean, I think I'm gonna. Here we go. All right. Hey, what happened there, buddy?
I suspect Alan is compromising the infrastructure here.
Well, yeah. Here's the deal, man. I mean, he's a coder. He knows how to break into the mainframe. He knows how to diddle around with code, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's gonna be some sort of virtual attack on our identities.
Yeah, well, this is good because I work for an internet service provider, so I could probably help fortify the network.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, I'm also glad. I'm also really happy that you're here to help fortify, the integrity of this podcast. Something that Alan was never really very interested in.
Yeah, no, he definitely phoned it in a lot.
He really did, man. And that was one of the biggest reasons, right? Was that a lot of times I'd be sitting there looking at the guy, and you could just tell there's fucking nothing going on in his head. He's not even trying. He's drunk.
Right, you could see it in his eyes. Definitely drunk. Definitely just thinking about cotton candy and things like that. Just very simple thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. He's always, you can just like why does sand exist? Like shit like that. That's what's going through his head.
You notice how he did that thing where how people kind of make eye contact with the camera, but he was always about an inch looking away from it. He never really quite knew how to connect.
Yeah, I've heard that autistic people can't look in people's eyes, but who can't look into an inanimate object?
I know. Well, that's he redefined the spectrum with that one.
Yeah, I mean, and for the record, just so we're the Better Business Bureau doesn't come after us. We didn't fire him because he's autistic. That's completely ancillary information.
Yeah, being autistic and being incompetent are not mutually exclusive. They do oftentimes, coexist, but
right. And the Going Hard podcast, we're pro mental health, we're pro mental illness, we're pro Antifa. We
definitely.
We have a lot of real progressive stances. I think that defunding the police is great, but one thing I can't tolerate is incompetence in my co-host, in my associate.
Hey, you're speaking to the choir here, bud.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a tough decision. I don't want to really beat this dead horse too much, but I thought. I mean, don't you agree? You're a listener of the podcast. Don't you think that this is important information for the audience?
Well, I mean, number one, anybody who listens they're going to notice Alan's not there.
Right.
So you might as well address it.
So what are you going to do? I mean, am I confident that producer Pete and I can put on, as good, if not an easily better show without him? Yeah, but it happened,
So how did Alan take the news?
So here's what we did. We kind of staged an intervention. We flew his parents in. And we got some friends together, and we had told a lot of these people in his life that he was actually addicted to heroin. And then when they all got together, producer Pete and I kind of stood up and just told them that he was no longer going to be on the podcast.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie, the response was fairly violent.
from Alan.
Yeah, he went into some sort of like idiotic rage, you know.
That checks out.
Yeah, it got pretty bad. Luckily,
he tried to fashion a shiv out of duct tape.
Yeah, very hastily. It wasn't very good, and luckily his dad was there and put him in one of those those holds that you see, you know.
Right, exactly. Where it's kind of like a hug, but they're also immobile.
Yes, exactly. A little basket hold, I believe, is what they call it.
Yeah, exactly. A basket hold. Yeah.
Yep, and his mom did, kind of ran her fingers across like the end of his bangs softly.
Yeah.
And then he fell asleep just on the living room floor, and by that point, most of the people had left because I think they felt insulted. I mean, I've never fired anyone before, so.
Now, when you guys staged this intervention, were there balloons in the room? Because I know balloons kind of set Alan off a little bit.
Yeah, so there were 2 helium balloons and then 1 that I just blew up myself.
Oh, okay. See, now I can kind of see where he could have been. A normal person might not have been triggered by that, but Alan can't really, especially if the balloons are rubbing together slightly.
Yeah, there was a static. There was definitely a static in the air, you could say.
Huh. Well, it's kind of hard to say the chicken or the egg, what set him off there.
Right.
That's a lot of bad things for Alan all happening at once.
That's true. And in retrospect, I feel like maybe we didn't approach the firing the right way.
No, you did.
I mean, I kind of thought so because the way I looked at it, like this podcast was probably the most important thing in Alan's life. All right. So that was the story of Alan's firing. Like kind of gave the background surrounding. We didn't get into too many details about what he actually did, and that's because I'm not trying to, affect his life outside of the podcast. I just knew that I didn't want to associate with someone who did what he did.
Well, and
easy, simple as that.
Spoiler alert: he comes back.
What? Wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me that in this next clip he comes back?
Maybe I do.
Okay, well,
let's take a look.
This will be. I am shocked by this. So yeah, I took a trip to the safari with my dad when I was 15, and yeah, we stayed at this tribal base camp.
Oh wow!
And that's where I saw my first tit.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit like of what it looked like.
It was like flat and had scars on it.
Oh, okay.
But then we went and killed an elephant. And then I came back and I told my new girlfriend that, and she started crying.
Oh. First dates, huh?
Yeah, I was like, you're weak, so I'm going to find a hard-working American girl to bang instead. Oh.
Oh, hey, boys.
Hey, Alan.
What
do you got there?
Hey, Producer Pete, get your piece of shit ass over here.
Okay. I mean, Producer Pete, the man is asking for help. I'd say give the man some help. This is quite the surprise here. This is quite the surprise indeed. All right. It's all right, Producer Pete. You want to just do your producer duty there? What is this, Alan?
Well,
what is this?
Yeah.
All right. This looks like a keg.
I'm back, boys.
So, you know how to tap this thing, Big Al?
I definitely don't.
All right.
Not even a little bit. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can make this guy work.
All right.
All right. Let's see.
So we almost defaced this tag, which is a criminal offense, apparently.
Oh, holy shit. All right, take this guy off.
Wow, this is something, huh, Producer Pete?
Hey, I thought I'd treat the boys, for being such a good podcast.
I mean, I'm not
a good podcast.
I'm not gonna lie. It's good to have you back when you're bearing gifts.
I mean, I do think we said a few episodes ago, 3 strikes, you're out unless you bring a keg.
Unless there's a keg.
What are you guys talking about? Strikes? I mean, did something happen?
Nah, that's not where it's. I mean, no,
I forgot everything that happened.
I think did happen is that we're all just doing a podcast just like we always would.
Always always have.
It's Friday.
It's podcast day.
That's what we do, right? We don't. No one's ever missed a podcast before.
Yeah. I'm glad we're all on the same page here.
Now you didn't shake that keg up at all or anything. This isn't gonna like explode, right?
I don't. I hope not.
Were you just shaking it?
You didn't like shake it, or it didn't like fall or anything, right?
You like that's right?
All right, look at this guy.
Yeah.
You would do a lot of like frat parties and shit.
Yeah, I was a regular old frat boy.
Like I would find it impossible to believe that you hadn't.
All right, well, probably get this guy off this plastic table, huh?
You know what this is? This is to the gang's back together.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Alan, he did what he knew he had to do, and all was forgiven, and in some cases, seemingly forgotten.
Yeah, I think that was just a really, truly, like, happy moment for the podcast.
It was. I remember that first taste of beer. I was sitting right here, and I had that taste of beer, and I was like, you know what? I think Alan's going to stick around for a long time.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all currently at 0 strikes.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That is.
I mean, we all know Alan will make another mistake, and there will be another keg in the future, but hopefully soon. I find myself actually just like wishing
he would fuck up
for his demise. So yeah, the gang got back together, and then things are normal. And we're actually on to our second to last clip, because the song will be the last clip. I chose a song that was not chosen before to close out a podcast.
Oh, fun.
So though it was heard on a previous podcast, it was not chosen as a closing song, and it might be one that a lot of people haven't heard yet.
Cool.
So that'll be fun. But before we get to that, we have our final clip. What I think was maybe our one of our most fun conversations we've had most recently, and I think it's going to propel us into a very bright future.
Let's see it.
This clip, Alan suggests that we should start going to estate sales.
Oh, I love estate sales.
And also, during this episode, you should keep in mind that we swore off social media for good.
Yes.
And that's why you don't see us anymore, because we don't.
More like social media dumb.
Exactly. Good job, baby. All right, here is that clip.
Do you want to start going to estate sales?
I mean, we probably should.
I've honestly this is like real.
I've
talk.
never done it. Why
real
not?
talk. I've always wanted to go to an estate sale.
We could do it.
Big time would be fun.
Yeah.
Auctioneer and all?
Yeah. I mean, if there's one there,
yeah.
fuck yeah. I mean, why not?
Here's my question.
Okay. Yep.
If we go to the estate sale, can we all wear black veils?
Just be like, who the fuck are these guys? Just like we're real sad for this.
Can we carry a pew in and just start weeping?
And then we just buy like fucking like a bunch of knickknacks and then leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And just pick the pew back up and just like this is we're over it.
I feel like a lot of those like old people that die like nowadays, like they're like, churchgoers. They probably have their own pew there. We can just borrow theirs.
Do you think people just have pews in their homes?
I don't know. I'm like for whatever reason, like when I think of an estate sale, I think like the person that died, I just imagine like an old, like wrinkly, fucking like church going,
a lot
like
of
Middle
times,
Eastern
right?
person, and
Middle Eastern. Whoa,
not Middle Eastern, Midwest.
Oh,
That's a completely different. That'd be kind of funny though.
It would be funny to or you're like, oh, you're gonna love my cousin. He's from the Midwest. Like you goof it up.
Yeah.
He's Midwestern. They're like, oh,
just
like,
a good old. Yeah,
I have family from Wisconsin. That's great.
Absolutely.
And they're like, who's this fucking guy? Like, oh, I meant Middle Eastern.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to mix that up, guys.
And they all have conservative values. They're all upset that there's this.
And then they get on Parler and fucking start messaging their folk.
And they start messaging us.
Yeah,
being like, great podcast first and foremost.
But you guys can't be bringing too far. All right.
No, I think it's perfectly fine.
Okay, all right.
We went right up to the line, but you didn't cross it. I appreciate
Yeah. No, I was tiptoeing on it.
So estate sales. You think a lot of terrorists have estate sales?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
again.
Okay.
So you think there's a lot of like old? That's how I
old white Midwestern
yes.
Like church going
yes.
have been their entire lives, and they're just like, well, I'm too old to like make my way to the church because the government took my driver's license away, and so they get their own pew, and the priest comes there and fucking gives them communion and shit.
Oh, and you think the priests
die.
are going home to home kind of deal?
Oh yeah, I think that they actually do that.
I bet when you're like if you're in like hospice or something, right?
Yeah. They come and like give you communion and shit.
Yeah, and I guess if you donated like over the course of your lifetime like $100,000 to the church. They're
Yeah.
probably
They
cool.
owe you a few wafers, you know?
At least.
A few of those bread wafers.
At least,
Yep.
yeah.
Or as they like to call it, the body of Christ.
The body of Christ,
Yep.
exactly. And that's what I believe. So don't lump me.
I would never. But yeah, no, they probably have. All I'm saying is they probably have their own pew.
So we don't have to bring up.
We don't have to walk.
All we
in
have
with
to
their
do is find.
We can walk out with their pew though because they're selling it. Though.
Oh, so we purchase pews and then we start our own church.
Okay, now we're talking. And then we get tax exempt.
Yeah.
And then we make all the money, and then we become the actual Going Hard for Christ podcast, and then we
Or we'd be called the Weeping Widowers.
The Weeping Widowers.
And we
Where's this going?
We just go estate sale to estate sale, wearing black veils and weeping as men. There's only one acceptable time for a man to weep.
And that's during an estate sale.
Well,
right?
truly, yes.
Look at all these deals. And
Make
then
it two.
And then you start weeping.
Make it two then. Make it two. Your wife dies or your kids. So when you become a widower, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So we start like the latter day weeping widowers.
Yep.
Or like the coven of the weeping widower.
The coven of the weeping
I don't
widower.
know.
What
Something like that. Well, but we'll build a reputation by going to estate sales and just taking pews.
Yeah, like people they started reporting about us in the news. They're just like, yep, the weeping widowers or whatever showed up at another estate sale. You know, these little rascals. And all they bought was a pew and then they left.
Mm-hmm. And we'll clear like a swath of land in like the woods somewhere, and then we'll just start placing the pews in order until we have a complete,
I love this idea.
It's a great idea.
It's a fantastic idea.
And that'll actually be a great place, since we're not going to be we're no longer broadcasting this podcast, at least not on traditional liberal cuck sources. So basically, it'll maybe be Parler, God willing. God willing, we were on Parler, but if not, we'll just do our podcast to our congregation.
Yeah. Well, no, I think
the coven of the weeping widowers.
Yeah, and then every time we get new listeners, we go out and we get a new pew.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we add,
or people could donate pews.
We'll actually go to the estate sales and we'll be like, people will kind of like get under their chin and look at me in the eye and be like, just kind of look at them and then we
like, please hit subscribe, and then they subscribe and then we're just like, come with us, and then we make them carry the pew for us. Then.
Well, it's part of their journey. It's like their Mecca,
Yeah. Do you wish to subscribe, young follower?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And then who's in charge? Fucking Zuckerberg.
Yeah, we are us here. In the podcast room.
At the podcast room. Every goddamn day. Look. I'm just spitballing here, but we have to find other avenues, and I think that the estate sale led to the way these ideas kind of came together is fascinating.
Well, what I've learned is that you get us two on a couple chairs sitting next to each other, the ideas just start flowing.
They really, really do, and all seriousness, though, I do want to start this
this is happening.
I do want to start this coven or whatever we're gonna call it, but I also
the weirdest fucking cult on the planet.
It's a modern day cult.
Yeah,
it's like I'm surprised that the people who are still wearing masks and still huddling in their homes aren't just
Oh yeah.
They should just meet up with each other because
Well, exactly. I don't know why there isn't these weird covens just scattered in the woods.
Exactly.
There's plenty of woods.
There's always
Lord knows.
metaphysical covens occurring.
Yeah.
Through these evil and deceptive and deceitful social media sites.
Well, all I'm saying is that there's plenty of woods out there. There's no shortage of woods.
Yes, exactly.
You can just find one and just walk into it.
Find one, clear out a little swath, create a congregation. Easy peasy.
Don't be I'm just saying people don't be lazy.
What do you think our attire should be?
That's a great question because if there's one thing I know about organized religion is that they wear really cool clothing.
Yeah.
Like the Pope's got that cool hat and shit, obviously. The priest got that cool white the white little thing that goes around the collar.
I like where you're going with this.
So yeah,
Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yep.
If we're gonna be out in the woods, right, and our fan base is gonna be out there, and we're gonna be on Parler and shit. I'm thinking, that the priest thing, so it's like a white collar.
Yeah.
I said we get robes entirely of that color.
So just white robes.
Yeah, and then like maybe I'll throw a hood of the same color on as well.
What? I don't see the relation to the white color, but I mean, like you could have just said a white robe.
It's the same color.
Yeah, okay.
So I was like, if we're broadcasting on Parler and we're gonna be out in the woods, I see why not just white hood, white robe. We'll cut some holes in the eyes.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing here. Maybe burn a cross or two.
No, hold on. That's not where I was going with this at all.
Oh shit, sorry.
I thought it'd be fun. We could all dress like ghosts since we all met at an estate sale. Like we'll all kind of embody the ghost.
We'll embody the ghost of the estate sale people that we got the pews from.
Exactly.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know why you burning crosses. Good lord.
What are you fucking Norm Macdonald over here?
Where do you think
Good Lord.
Where do you think we are, Mississippi? We don't burn crosses. We're in the Middle East. All right, we don't burn crosses here. That's not part of our values.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think maybe if we don't want to, maybe don't dress up like ghosts just because we might get confused. But we could.
It'd be so funny.
I do like the idea of dressing up. Like we find that's so. Not only do we take pews from the estate sales, but we take family photos so that we have a reference point to who to dress up as.
Of course.
And then you come to the
of course we take
you come to the congregation dressed as the individual.
Yes.
And his wife or kids or whatever. Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It would also be really funny to dress up like that, and when people be like, "We're just ghosts. We're just ghosts."
Just gotta get upset with everybody.
They're like, well, why are you broadcasting to Parler then? It's like we're conservative ghosts. That's all the KKK are. We're just conservative ghosts. It's no big deal. So yeah, I think we're onto something there. Like it's really important to kind of diversify your mediums and whatnot when you have a podcast to try to build your brand.
Well, before you got to the ghost shit, the coven in the middle of the woods wearing black veils. You're just witches at that point.
but we're warlocks, male witches.
But I think that's interesting because, that's not very Christ-like.
Well, there's a fine line, isn't there? There's always a fine line. These cults always start with pure intentions, but
oh yeah, really?
I mean, I think so.
I wouldn't say that.
That's what old Charlie Manson told me.
Oh, then it has to be true.
My buddy Charlie, I still send mail to him even though he's deceased.
Yeah, do you ever
nothing ever
get
comes,
anything back?
Nothing comes back, but I feel his spirit. Well, did you have fun going through these clips and memories? It's probably for you seeing most of them for the first time, I would imagine.
Yeah, a lot of them the first time.
So you got to have a visceral reaction, a raw reaction to them.
Yeah.
Did you have fun though?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably choose to spend my time differently if I had a choice.
You did have a choice. Stop with that. You did not have to do this. I would have done it on my own. It'd be more fun to do it together.
No, I like riffing with you.
Yeah. You want to go have sex now?
Sure.
All right, this is great. So on that note, hey, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Going Hard podcast. We'll be back. Episode 31 will be fresh content. I thought this would be fun. I personally like going back and seeing some of the old shit. So thank you so much, guys. And here is the song to close up the podcast. Goodbye. This next song I wrote with my good pal, Kenneth Patterson. From Muscle Shoals, Alabama. He is a session band player. Played for all the greats. Riley Joe Wilson. The Bandit Bunch. The Street Sweepers. All the greats. He was on their records. And I just want the song goes out to him for inspiring me to make music. This is for you. That was it.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
What was that?
Chipmunk, is it?
2 packs of M&M's and a motel room. These are the things I look forward to when I'm not with you. I heard Vietnam was bad, but when you're gone, it's
wife, you know.
Many goddamn miles on my car. But when I get back to you and I'm just living my truth, it's good. I remember why I do it, why I do it, I do for us. Two broken rubber condoms on a motel bed. I find ways to forget you when I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like buying a prostitute or forcing my drummer to suck me off. These are things I do on the road. They're not things I feel the need to atone for. I don't need to atone for my sins. I'm on the road again.
Yeah, it's good. I'm on the road again.
These are the things that I do when I'm without you. I heard Vietnam was bad, but not as sad as a weekend without you. That's much more tragic.
Yeah, okay. It was bad, but it wasn't as sad.